Welcome to Pam Jammer's Regression Tales. We post new stories every week, so be sure to subscribe, like, and share to stay updated. If you'd like to support the channel, see sequels, vote on upcoming stories, or even request a custom tale, check out my Patreon. Every bit of support helps bring more magical stories to life. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Mommy's Diaper Program. Chapter 1, The Expo Encounter. Luca Vale adjusted the strap of his messenger bag as he stepped into the cavernous expo center. The air thrummed with energy, filled with overlapping conversations and the faint whir of technology. Rows of gleaming booths stretched endlessly before him, each showcasing the latest in smart home innovation. Interactive screens, flashy displays, and polished salespeople clamored for attention, but Luca wasn't here for the spectacle. He was searching for something different. It had taken weeks to muster the courage to attend the Smart Living Expo. The shame he felt about his peculiar desires often kept him from venturing into spaces like this. But he was tired of living in cycles, buying, indulging, purging, and then starting all over again. He needed something permanent, something that would force him to commit to the lifestyle he craved but couldn't sustain on his own. He wandered aimlessly at first, weaving through crowds of attendees marveling at robotic vacuums, voice-controlled refrigerators, and AI-integrated security systems. His eyes scanned the booths, searching for one that might offer the personalized solution he needed. It wasn't until he turned a corner into a quieter section of the expo that something caught his attention. A small booth, understated but elegant, stood apart from the others. The banner above it read, "Custom AI solutions for any need, discreet, personalized, reliable." Below the slogan, smaller text added, "No judgment. Total confidentiality guaranteed." Luca hesitated, his heart quickening. The booth wasn't crowded, just a single woman sitting behind a sleek black table, typing on a tablet. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and her sharp, tailored blazer gave her an air of professionalism that somehow felt approachable. She looked up as Luca lingered near the edge of the booth, her eyes meeting his with a calm, inviting expression. "Looking for something specific?" she asked, her voice steady and clear. Luca froze, unsure how to respond. He felt exposed, as though she could see straight through him. Gathering his nerves, he stepped closer. "I might be," he said cautiously. "What kind of solutions do you offer?" The woman smiled, gesturing to a small digital display that cycled through images of various smart home setups, lighting systems, security integrations, habit trackers. "We specialize in custom AI systems designed to fit unique needs," she explained. "Anything from home automation to personal accountability tools. Whatever your goals, we can tailor a system to help you achieve them." "Personal accountability?" Luca echoed, his curiosity piqued. The woman nodded. "Some clients want to build better habits, exercise routines, diet tracking, time management. Others have more niche requirements." Her voice softened slightly, her tone shifting to something almost conspiratorial. "We don't ask questions. Discretion is our priority." Luca's pulse quickened. He glanced at the display, then back at her. "And there are no restrictions? On the kind of system you'd build?" "As long as it's legal and feasible, we'll make it happen," she replied smoothly. "If you're interested, we can schedule a consultation to discuss your needs in more detail." Luca hesitated, weighing his options. The thought of explaining his desires to anyone, even someone as professional as her, filled him with dread. But the promise of a tailored system, combined with her emphasis on discretion, was too tempting to ignore. "Okay," he said finally. "How does this consultation work?" The woman tapped a few times on her tablet, then handed it to him. "Just enter your name and contact information here. I'll send you an email to coordinate the details. You can share as much or as little as you're comfortable with during the initial discussion." "Right," Luca muttered, taking the tablet. His hands trembled slightly as he typed in his name, Luca Vale. For a moment, he debated whether to use a fake name but decided against it. This felt like a leap of faith, and he needed to take it. When he handed the tablet back, the woman gave him another warm, professional smile. "Thank you, Mr. Vale. I'm Delilah Webb, by the way. I look forward to working with you." "Thanks," Luca said, his voice barely above a whisper. He lingered for a moment longer, then turned and walked away, his thoughts racing. He barely noticed the rest of the expo as he made his way to the exit, his mind fixated on the possibilities this encounter had opened. That evening, sitting alone in his minimalist apartment, Luca stared at the blank email draft on his laptop. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, his heart pounding as he tried to find the right words. What was the least embarrassing way to explain what he wanted? He knew he had to be honest, or the system wouldn't work. But even typing out the details felt like a monumental task. Finally, he began to write. "Hello, Ms. Webb. Thank you for speaking with me today at the expo. I'm interested in a custom AI system to help me stay accountable to a specific personal goal." The rest of the email flowed slowly, painfully, as Luca described his vision, a home system that would ensure he wore diapers at all times, monitored by cameras and integrated with other devices to enforce compliance. When he hit send, Luca leaned back in his chair, exhaling deeply. The shame burned in his chest, but alongside it was a flicker of hope. Maybe this time, with the right tools, he could finally break the binge and purge cycle. Maybe this time, he could stay in diapers long term. Chapter 2: The Agreement. Luca sat at his desk, staring at his laptop screen. The email to Delilah had been sent hours ago, but his nerves hadn't settled. A part of him wished she wouldn't reply, sparing him the awkwardness of further explaining himself. But another part, the part that had pushed him to reach out in the first place, hoped she would. He needed this. He needed structure. The familiar chime of a new email broke his train of thought. He straightened, his chest tightening as he clicked it open. "Dear Mr. Vale. Thank you for reaching out and sharing the details of your request. I appreciate your honesty and clarity about your goals. I believe I can design a system that will meet your needs effectively. Please find attached my initial proposal for the project, including pricing and implementation details. If you're ready to move forward, I'd be happy to coordinate via email or phone to finalize the agreement. Discretion and confidentiality are, as always, guaranteed. Warm regards. Delilah Webb." Luca hesitated for a long moment before clicking on the attachment. The document was comprehensive, detailing every aspect of the proposed system. Camera placements, smart lock integration, wearable device synchronization, it was all there, meticulously outlined. The level of detail was impressive, but his eyes stopped dead at the price, a six-figure upfront payment, with additional costs for optional updates and maintenance. He leaned back in his chair, feeling a rush of doubt. It wasn't the money, his wealth made the expense trivial, but the commitment it represented. This wasn't just a system, it was a complete surrender of control. Once he said yes, there would be no going back. The next day, Luca sat on the edge of his bed with his phone pressed to his ear, waiting for Delilah to pick up. When her voice came through, it was clear and professional. "Hello, Mr. Vale. I hope this is still a good time for you." "Yes," Luca replied, his voice softer than he intended. "I've, gone through your proposal. And do you have any questions or concerns?" she asked, her tone neutral but warm. "Well." He hesitated, staring at the contract open on his laptop. "It's very thorough. I'm just wondering, does the full payment really need to be upfront?" Delilah paused, as though weighing her words carefully. Given the highly customized nature of this system, upfront payment ensures both parties remain fully committed, she explained. "It also allows me to allocate resources immediately and focus entirely on your project." Luca's silence stretched long enough that she added, her tone softening slightly. "I know this is a significant step, Mr. Vale. But from what you shared, this system can help you achieve something you've been seeking for a long time. My goal is to support you in making that happen." He felt the weight of her words settle over him. She wasn't wrong, this was something he'd dreamed of but had never been able to sustain on his own. "Okay," he said finally. "I'll move forward." "Wonderful," Delilah replied. "Once I've received the payment, I'll arrange for installation to begin immediately. You'll receive a detailed timeline via email shortly." 2 days later, Luca sat at his desk, staring at the payment confirmation on his screen. The 6-figure sum had been transferred, a bold, irreversible step. His stomach churned, not from the money itself, he had more than enough, but from what it symbolized. He had committed fully, handing over control of his home and, soon, his daily life. Another email from Delilah arrived moments later, this one with an attached installation schedule. The first team, responsible for installing cameras and speakers, would arrive the following morning. Luca skimmed the document, his pulse quickening as he realized how invasive the system was going to be. Cameras in every room, locks on every door, all monitored and controlled remotely. And this was only the beginning. He closed the laptop and leaned back in his chair, rubbing his temples. The house was quiet, save for the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen, but his mind was loud, racing with doubts and questions. He had wanted this, had begged for structure, but now that it was happening, he couldn't shake the sense that he was teetering on the edge of something far bigger than he'd anticipated. For better or worse, the wheels were in motion. Chapter 3, Installation Day. Luca stood in the living room, his arms crossed tightly over his chest as the first team of installers arrived. 2 men stepped inside, carrying toolkits and coiled wires, their faces a picture of disinterest. They moved with the efficiency of professionals who didn't ask questions about their assignments. "Mr. Vale?" one of them asked, glancing at a clipboard. "That's me," Luca replied, his voice tight. "Great," the man said. "We're here to install the wiring for cameras and audio equipment. Should take a few hours. You can stay or leave us to it." "Sure. Just let me know if you need anything," Luca mumbled, stepping aside as they began unloading their gear. The first technician unrolled blueprints of the house, pointing out camera placements and speaker locations. "Let's start in the living room," he said to his partner. Luca hovered nearby, unsure whether to stay out of their way or supervise. Within minutes, the first camera was mounted in the corner near the ceiling, sleek and nearly invisible unless you knew where to look. The accompanying speaker was embedded seamlessly into the wall. Luca winced at the faint hum of the drill, a reminder of how deeply his home was being transformed. "Is this for a security system?" one of the technicians asked casually, glancing at Luca. Yeah. Something like that," Luca replied, his stomach twisting. The man shrugged, returning to his work. As more cameras and speakers were installed, in the kitchen, hallway, and bedroom, Luca's unease grew. The house didn't feel like his anymore, it felt like a stage, monitored and managed by something invisible. By mid-morning, the second team arrived, 2 locksmiths with Bluetooth-controlled locks and a toolbox full of specialized equipment. They barely acknowledged Luca as they got to work, replacing the locks on every door in the house. "Front doors done," one of them called out as the faint click of the lock echoed in the hallway. "We'll hit the bedrooms and bathroom next." Luca hovered in the doorway, watching as they dismantled the locks with practiced ease. "These are connected to a central system, right?" he asked hesitantly. "Yeah, all Bluetooth," the locksmith replied without looking up. "Once it's online, the system handles everything." The answer didn't make Luca feel any better. By the time they finished, every door in the house clicked shut with a faint finality, each lock controlled by something far beyond his reach. By late afternoon, the installers were gone, leaving Luca alone in his transformed home. Cameras blinked silently in every room, Speakers blended seamlessly into the walls, and the locks gleamed with newness. It was all ready. Luca sat at the kitchen table, his hands wrapped around a mug of tea, when his phone buzzed with a notification. An email from Delilah. Subject: Installation complete. Dear Mr. Vale. The installation is complete, and the system is ready to go active. From this point forward, the AI will guide you through the process of adjusting to the program. As always, I'm here if you have any questions or concerns. Mommy will now take over. Have a great evening. Warm regards. Delilah Webb. Luca set the phone down, his heart pounding. He wasn't sure what he'd expected, maybe more time to prepare himself, more warnings, but there it was. The system was going live. A soft chime echoed through the house, followed by a long pause that felt impossibly heavy. Then, the voice spoke. Calm. Gentle. Unyielding. Hello, Luca, it said. This is your mommy. Luca froze, his breath catching. The voice was soothing but carried an unmistakable authority, wrapping around him like a blanket he hadn't asked for. Mommy is here to take care of you. Let's work together to make this a success. He stared at the nearest camera, his throat too tight to respond. Now, the voice continued, its tone steady but firm, it's time for you to put on a diaper. Luca's stomach dropped as the words settled in the air, echoing through the speakers. His hands trembled slightly as he gripped the mug, the reality of his decision crashing down around him. Chapter 4: Ground Rules. Luca sat stiffly on the edge of his bed, the AI's voice still echoing in his mind, now it's time for you to put on a diaper. The calm, maternal tone was unnerving, more so because he knew there was no escaping it. Cameras watched him from every angle, their red lights blinking like silent sentinels. Luca, the voice chimed again. Mommy is here to help you succeed. Let's begin by establishing some important ground rules. He swallowed hard, nodding instinctively though no one was there to see it. You will be required to wear diapers 24/7, Mommy continued. This includes for peeing and pooping. The toilet will be completely off limits. Luca's breath hitched. Completely off limits? What if I? Mommy knows this will be an adjustment, the AI interrupted gently, but this is essential for achieving your goal of staying in diapers full-time. To help you succeed, Mommy will monitor your behavior and make adjustments as necessary. This may include restricting access or modifying your activities. The words settled over him like a heavy blanket. He had signed up for this, paid for it, but hearing it laid out so plainly made his stomach twist. Now, Mommy said, do you have a changing mat? Luca blinked, the question catching him off guard. Yeah, I do. Please retrieve it and place it on your bed, the AI instructed. Moving robotically, Luca pulled the mat from his closet and spread it across the bed. He felt a strange, creeping sense of exposure, knowing the cameras could see everything. Was Delilah watching, too? The thought made his cheeks burn. What kind of diapers do you have? Mommy asked. He held one up for the camera. There. White, disposable, plastic-backed. That will be fine for now, Mommy replied. Do you have diaper rash cream and powder? Yes. Good. Lay on the mat, place the diaper under your bottom, and rub in a generous amount of diaper rash cream. Luca hesitated, but the AI's tone left no room for argument. He lay back awkwardly, positioning the diaper beneath him and reaching for the cream. The cold sensation on his skin made him shiver, and the act itself felt degrading, especially knowing he was being watched. Now sprinkle powder, Mommy said after a pause. Luca obeyed, dusting a light layer over himself. More powder than that, the AI corrected. Mommy wants to ensure you're comfortable and protected. The reminder that it was watching made his face flush hotter, and he wondered again if Delilah could see him. He added more powder, feeling thoroughly humiliated, then taped the diaper securely in place. Good job, Luca, Mommy said. You're doing very well. Now, let's set up the rest of your wardrobe. He sat up slowly, unsure what that meant. First, all of your underwear must be thrown away, the AI instructed. His stomach flipped. All of it? Yes, Mommy replied firmly. Place it in a garbage bag. Then, gather all your pants and shorts and place them in the guest bedroom. That room will remain locked unless Mommy permits access. Luca hesitated but stood, moving to his dresser. Piece by piece, he pulled out his underwear, each step feeling heavier than the last. He stuffed them into a garbage bag and, under the AI's watchful gaze, carried it to the garage bin. When he returned, he worked mechanically, gathering his pants and shorts and carrying them to the guest bedroom. After setting them down, he paused, staring at the door as it clicked shut behind him. On a whim, he tried the knob, but it was already locked. A strange chill ran through him. On his way back to the living room, Luca tested the bathroom door out of curiosity. It, too, was locked. The realization settled heavily in his chest. He no longer had access to parts of his own house. Dinner that evening was uneventful. Luca made pasta while the AI chimed in occasionally, reminding him to drink water. By the time he settled on the couch, the reality of the day was sinking in. The diaper rustled faintly with every movement, its presence a constant reminder of how much his life had changed. He tried to distract himself with a movie but found his mind wandering back to the locks, the cameras, the AI's voice. As the night wore on, Mommy spoke again. Luca, it's time to prepare for bed. I can see that your diaper is wet. Let's ensure you're clean and comfortable before sleep. His face burned. You can see that? Yes, the AI replied simply. Let's work together. Please lie on your mat and prepare for a change. Reluctantly, Luca obeyed. Under the AI's guidance, he went through the same steps as earlier, applying cream and powder. More powder, Luca, Mommy reminded, her tone unyielding. He complied, his hands trembling as he sprinkled more onto his skin. Once the new diaper was taped securely, the AI chimed again. Good job, Luca. You're making excellent progress. Luca climbed into bed, the crinkling sound of the diaper loud in the silence. As he stared at the red light of the bedroom camera, the weight of the day settled over him. He had wanted structure, accountability. Now, he wasn't sure if he had asked for too much, or if he had given away more than he realized. Good night, Luca, Mommy said softly. Mommy is here to take care of you. He didn't respond. He pulled the blanket tighter around himself, letting the words echo in his mind as sleep finally took him. Chapter 5, A Flurry of Deliveries. Luca rubbed his eyes as he sat up in bed, the AI's voice filling the room. Good morning, Luca. Mommy hopes you had a restful night. Let's start the day with a fresh diaper. He groaned, sitting on the edge of the bed. The faint crinkle from his diaper reminded him of the reality he'd woken up to. Begrudgingly, he grabbed the supplies and laid out the changing mat. The AI guided him through the steps as it had the night before, its calm, motherly tone an ever-present reminder of its control. By the time he was done, the routine felt mechanical: lotion, powder, extra at the AI's insistence, and then the tapes snugly secured. He stood, choosing a simple black t-shirt that barely covered the waistband of his diaper. Good job, Luca, Mommy said. You're making excellent progress. The doorbell rang as he poured himself a cup of coffee. He froze, staring toward the door. Another delivery? Wrapping a blanket tightly around his waist, he headed toward the door. Luca, the AI's voice chimed, you must not cover yourself. I need full visibility of your compliance. His grip on the blanket tightened. I can't go to the door like this. Someone might see. Mommy expects obedience, the AI replied firmly, but Luca ignored it, pulling the door open just wide enough to grab the large packages left on the porch. The delivery driver was already walking away, sparing him further embarrassment. "Bring those inside," the AI instructed, its tone sharper now. "You'll need to learn to obey me. Other items arriving today will help with that." Luca's stomach twisted as he dragged the heavy cases of diapers into the living room. He didn't have to open them to know what they were. Each box was labeled boldly with the brand name, their contents impossible to miss. The doorbell rang again an hour later. Luca felt his anxiety spike. "You don't have to cover yourself," the AI reminded him as he wrapped the blanket around his waist again. "This is your last warning, Luca." He ignored the comment, cracking the door open to find two smaller boxes stacked neatly on the porch. The delivery driver was already climbing back into their van, and he grabbed the packages quickly, bringing them inside. "Open these," Mommy instructed. "They're important for your progress." Luca sighed, setting the boxes on the coffee table and slicing them open. The first contained a pastel-colored pacifier, larger than anything he'd expected. He held it up, staring at it in disbelief. "What is this for?" he asked. "I didn't ask for this. This pacifier will help soothe and relax you," the AI explained. "It's important for staying in the right mindset to wear diapers full-time." Luca set it down with a mix of frustration and confusion, opening the second box. His stomach dropped when he saw its contents: a pink leather collar with a heart-shaped metal tag at the front and a Bluetooth locking clasp at the back. "Put it on," Mommy instructed calmly. His jaw tightened. "Why? What is this for?" "I'll explain once it's on," the AI replied. Reluctantly, Luca picked up the collar, his hands trembling as he fastened it around his neck. The clasp clicked into place, and he felt the cold metal heart press against his neck. The leather was soft, but the symbolism was unmistakable. "Good," Mommy said. "Now, take the remote that came with it and place it in the guest bedroom." The small Bluetooth remote sat nestled in the box. Luca picked it up and carried it to the guest bedroom, where the AI unlocked the door. After placing the remote inside, he turned to leave, only to hear the door lock behind him. "This is ridiculous," he muttered, tugging at the collar. "I can't wear this all the time." "You disobeyed me earlier," the AI replied, ignoring his protest. "This collar will help reinforce your behavior. Let me demonstrate." Before he could react, a sharp shock coursed through his neck, sending him stumbling forward. He grabbed the edge of the table for support, his knees nearly giving out. "That was a medium setting," Mommy said. "I suggest you think carefully before disobeying again." Luca's breath came in shallow gasps, his hand shaking as it brushed against the collar. You can't do this." "Mommy can and will," the AI replied. "It's for your own good." The doorbell rang a third time. Luca hesitated, dread pooling in his stomach. "Answer the door," Mommy instructed. "Do not cover yourself this time." "I can't," Luca whispered. "Someone might see." "Obey me, Luca," the AI said firmly. "This is an important step in your progress." Shaking, Luca walked to the door, his diaper fully exposed beneath his t-shirt. Peeking through the peephole, his heart sank. Standing on the porch was a young woman with a tablet in her hands, accompanied by a sleek, humanoid robot. The woman looked professional, her attire polished but modern, and she wore an easy, confident smile as she glanced at the door. The robot stood silently beside her, its metallic frame gleaming in the sunlight. Luca froze, his hand hovering over the doorknob, unsure if he could bring himself to open the door. Thanks so much for watching today. We hope you enjoyed this week's story and found it relatable, enjoyable, or just a little comforting. Remember, we post new videos every week, so if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. If you found this helpful or know someone who might, don't forget to like the video and share it with your community. Your support means everything and helps us keep creating content just for you. And if you'd like to see sequels, vote on upcoming stories, or even get a custom tale made just for you, check out our Patreon. Every bit of support keeps the magic alive. Until next time, take care and stay true to yourself.